And this is exactly what you need to flush out excess creatinine fast. Gathering here, let's imagine for a moment that you are a CKD patient with high creatinine level and you have booked 4 different appointments with 4 different nephrologists and kidney doctors to ask them just one question. How do I lower my creatinine level, the main indicator of kidney function, fast? The first doctor will probably just tell you that this cannot be done. But is that right? The second doctor would just give you a diuretic because that's how you flush out excess fluids and toxins. Another doctor would probably tell you that removing foods such as carbs and sugar from the diet is the first step because they cause water retention. The fourth doctor will tell you that salt is a huge problem and to start from that. But who is right? What is the best approach? Okay guys, if you know me already, you probably know that I'm a doctor in natural medicine, a naturopath, and that I've been working with kidney disease patients for a long time now. But if you are new here, first of all, welcome to Double O Kidney and please consider subscribing if your goal is a better kidney health. Because today, our goal is finding the fastest way to lower your creatinine fast and in a natural way. I will also review some of the most common pieces of advice doctors and nephrologists give kidney patients and we will see if they are valid or not. So, is the first doctor right by saying that kidney function cannot be improved? No, don't listen to what the first hypothetical doctor answered to our question. I've seen CKD patients improve in all the stages of CKD, and yes, even in stage 5. And science confirms that this is actually possible, as you can see. So is the second doctor right then? Are diuretics the fastest way to lower creatinine? Now guys, doctors for sure love their diuretics, but I think kidney disease patients should be more informed about what they are. Let me explain. Diuretics, also known as water pills, are medicines that directly help the kidneys get rid of extra water and toxins. And this sounds good, but they also come with significant side effects that can be very dangerous for your kidneys if you are not informed. So let's see how to avoid that. If you are taking any of the prescription diuretics you see in my list, and that includes several name brands, you should know that they do not lower creatinine directly. So most common diuretics are loop diuretics such as Lasix or furosemide, and also Bomex or bumetanide, Edequine, and more. These are prescribed to CKD patients because they remove large amounts of fluids, sodium, toxins, and also potassium as well. Some patients are also prescribed other diuretics that do not remove as much potassium, such as thiazides and potassium-sparing diuretics, and these are used to maintain potassium balance. Some brands you may have seen include Demodex, Microzyme, Hygrodone, Aldactone, and more. And of course, your nephrologist is supposed to find the right combination for you. But this is not always an easy task. As I was saying, these medicines come with a serious danger for the kidneys. You see, prescription diuretics can help protecting the kidneys, no doubt about it. The main help is because reducing salt and sodium in the body will lower your blood pressure. But in some cases, they can also increase your creatinine levels because they can damage the kidneys. As we can see here, if your dose is too high or if your water intake is too low, you may end up suffering from dehydration. This is very bad if you have kidney disease. In this case, prescription diuretics may even cause AKI, as we can see, or acute kidney injury. So be very careful. Get knowledgeable about the medications you are taking and always drink lots of water if you can. Now, this does not mean that you should avoid taking these prescriptions, alright? Always do what your doctor says, but get informed as well. In this spirit, let's see what some of the best natural alternatives to prescription diuretics are. So, is there a natural alternative that actually works? Yes, there are some natural alternatives that can help your kidneys get rid of excess water and that also lower creatinine. Now, here is a recommendation for lowering creatinine that only a naturopath can give you. This is something called horsetail or Equisetum arvense. And what's really surprising about this plant is that it has the ability to significantly reduce creatinine levels, as we can see, while conventional treatments cannot do that. Now, one more thing that helps with swelling and with creatinine level as well is taking magnesium and vitamin B6 together. In people with kidney disease, vitamin B6, especially when combined with magnesium, is linked to increased urine production. And this is exactly what we want in order to fight swelling. And if you have kidney disease, this combination will also greatly help with creatinine levels. I mean, magnesium in particular is one of the most effective supplements you can find if you want to protect your kidneys. Okay, still 2 more ways to lower creatinine levels naturally and fast to see. By the way, I've just added a new feature on WO Kidney that will let you support my work here if you want. There is a little join button you can see right below my videos. What it does is giving your comments top priority to get a reply from me, because I always try to answer as many comments as possible, but I can never answer them all. So consider joining the members of the channel, and for less than the price of a cup of coffee, you will also be able to help me create more of the content you like. And I also want to say thank you to our first 4 members, Melanie, RR, Alex, and Joseph. Thank you very much for your support. It really means a lot to me. Okay guys, now let's get back to the initial question. If you have CKD and your goal is improving your GFR and creatinine numbers, what is the #1 most effective way to flush out excess creatinine and toxins fast? So one of the answers to this question is removing carbs and sugars from the diet. So if someone eats lots of high carb foods, you know, pasta, bread, pizza, breakfast cereals, and anything containing sugar, removing them from the diet will cause a sudden drop in the amount of fluid the body retains. But can this strategy really lower creatinine levels? Well, in some patients, it may help, because you see, for some people, excess carb and sugar intake may be a cause for fluid retention that will in turn cause kidney problems. And while people with diabetes are more at risk for this issue, it may happen to anyone. Let me explain. Have you ever noticed that if you go on a diet, you immediately experience a rapid weight loss? Maybe 5 or 10 pounds in just a few days? Has that ever happened to you? Well, it's very common, but that rapid weight loss doesn't happen because you are actually losing body mass. What you are losing during the start of a diet is glycogen. Is a form of carbohydrate that's stored in muscles and the liver, alright? This glycogen is something the body needs for energy. However, for every gram of glycogen stored, about 3 grams of water are stored with it. And this is all water that the kidneys cannot remove, and consequently, they will have less ability to remove creatinine and other scores. And as I was saying, that could amount to a lot of extra fluid that is retained in the body, which will in turn also cause your blood pressure to rise. At this point, one may think that reducing carbohydrate intake may be a good strategy to get rid of this extra water, right? But will that work? Or is there a better way? So, of course, if you force your body to use the glycogen it stores, you will be able to get rid of a lot of the extra water that cause fluid retention and swelling. And as I was saying, since glycogen is a carbohydrate, eating less carbs will force the body to use his storage of glycogen. Now, while some people will be tempted to consider a low-carb diet at this point and cut all sorts of foods from their regimen, including fruit and veggies, well, don't do that, because it's true that removing all the carbs from the diet reduces water retention, But is that going to lower your creatinine levels? Well, not really, unfortunately. Because you see, if you have kidney disease, you need a diet with at least 60 to 70% of calories coming from carbs in order to save your kidneys. It has been observed time and time again that as soon as CKD patients stop eating fruit and veggies, their kidney function starts to go down and their creatinine starts to go up. Remember that. While it's true that fruit and veggies have carbs, they are also extremely rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber that your kidneys need, and they are also alkalizing. So, how can we reduce the amount of glycogen stored without reducing carb intake too much then? Well, first of all, focus on low glycemic index carbs. This is very important, especially for people with diabetes. So instead of removing all carbs, just remove those that will cause a spike in your glucose levels. You know, stuff such as pasta, bread, anything containing sugar, especially beverages, but also morning cereals, cookies, and so on. Because you see, it's right when you have a glucose spike that the body will start to replenish the glycogen. On the other hand, consuming the right amount of fruit and veggies can help you get the right nutrients without retaining too much glycogen. Many plant-based foods will actually decrease your chance of having a glucose spike because they are rich in fiber. Some foods such as nuts, seeds, avocado, and coconut also contains healthy fats that will further decrease the risk of a glucose spike. Another way to reduce water retention is regular exercise. Do you remember what the body uses the glycogen for? Energy. The glycogen is the main fuel for the body. So if you use that extra fuel the body stores to exercise, the body will have less of it and it will retain less water as well. Third way to reduce water weight is maintain a healthy body weight. This is extremely important. If you suffer from diabetes, being overweight will worsen your insulin resistance. More insulin in the body means more glycogen is stored and more water is retained. So in short, if your goal is reducing water retention, you don't need to avoid all carbs. A better strategy is avoiding only high glycemic index carbs such as those in junk foods and ultra-processed grains. At the same time, focus on moving more and do all you can to maintain a healthy body weight. This strategy is going to be extremely effective if your goal is not just to reduce swelling and water retention but also your creatinine level. Okay guys, so we have seen two valid strategies that can be used to decrease fluid retention and to lower your creatinine level naturally. But as I was saying, if you will ask the question of how to lower your creatinine to several doctors, you will get several different answers. And of course, some doctors will tell you that sodium is your #1 enemy if your goal is reducing water retention and creatinine levels as well. But is that true? Well, let me be very clear on this. I don't have a problem with this answer, alright? Any doctor will tell you to be extremely careful with how much sodium you get, and they are right. But if you would ask me as well, I will go one step further. I will tell you that there is a hidden danger most kidney patients don't know about, and that's the danger of hidden sodium. Let me explain. Most big food brands have found out that if they put tons of sodium and sugar in their products, consumers will eat more of them, which is a very sound marketing strategy, but it also comes with a side effect. Most of the foods you find on the supermarket shelves will destroy your kidneys. This is why just avoiding the salt shaker is definitely not enough. By the way guys, all this excessive sodium intake these marketing geniuses force us to consume every day has been found to damage the kidneys even in the general population. Sodium directly damages the kidneys. Dealing with high levels of sodium forces the kidneys to work harder, so they will last less. And this is an effect that's independent from high blood pressure. So never think that just because your blood pressure is fine or your kidneys are fine, you don't need to limit sodium intake. So yeah, salt makes stuff taste good, but it's also very bad for your kidneys. And this may seem a bad thing unless you realize that it also means that getting rid of all that extra sodium also means directly protecting the kidneys. In fact, the lower the sodium intake, the better. Reducing sodium intake does not just help with high blood pressure and swelling, it will even lower your proteinuria level. So let's see how to achieve this. So question, what is hidden sodium and how do we avoid it? Now guys, I'm currently on a diet, and while I use an app to track my macros, I'm also reading tons of food labels, and I'm still baffled by the sheer amount of sodium food brands manage to put, even in the most innocent food items. You see, about 80% of the salt we ingest every day comes from processed foods and not from the salt shaker. Here are some of the foods that shocked me the most. Vegetable juice. They tell you that drinking vegetable juice is a simple way to get your veggies. Reality is that you will be mostly drinking a lot of sodium. An 8-ounce or 240 milliliters serving of vegetable juice may have 400 to 600 milligrams of sodium, which is almost half what you should get in a whole day. And let's talk about salad dressings. In a review of major brand name foods sold in US stores, salad dressing average over 300 milligrams of sodium per just 2 tablespoons or 28-gram serving. Yeah, the easiest way to ruin your salad in a salad dressing. Now, sandwiches are probably some of the worst offenders. Considering the bread, cured meats, processed cheese, and condiments, one single sandwich can easily surpass 1500 milligrams of sodium. Even eating one of these once in a while will be a bad mistake for someone with kidney problems. So yeah, the bottom line is avoiding the salt shaker is not enough. You also need to double check the label of what you are eating very carefully. Don't get fooled by the marketing departments. Now guys, whenever I mention sodium in my videos, I receive comments from people that are worried about their use of sodium bicarbonate as a supplement. But does sodium bicarbonate actually contain sodium? And also, is there an alternative? Well, I've actually just made a video to answer these questions. It's up here and also down in the description if you missed it. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!